How about guild structure?
Ooh.
What'd you just say?
Podcast number 3. Boop doop doop.
In the house.
November 2nd, 2012. Doop-a-doop. Almost made it 3 weeks.
That's the intro music?
Yeah, that's the intro music. Almost made it 3 weeks with a regular podcast, but didn't. Now Friday. We said Tuesday or Wednesday. We all lied. Show number 3. We have Shannon, Mist Healer, Mist Weaver Healer, Extraordinaires. We have Top Right Dopa, Melee Almost Officer, Good Riddance Guild.
I can't look in the camera anymore because I've been getting feedback that my head is shaped like something that you would grow in Half Hill.
Ooh. There's so many options.
What is that?
You can decide whether that's a jade squash or a juicy crunch carrot.
Juicy Crunch Carrot. What is its monetary value? It's the important thing.
Plants.
It's quite a bit actually. Juicy crunch carrots are they're very expensive.
It's the 300 food, man. It's come down,
I think
though.
this is what people are thinking you look like, right?
Oh, you got phoned.
Incidentally.
Nice. She did it to you. She did it to you.
It's been
Very
done.
well.
That doesn't make good audio if people aren't watching this. Bottom right,
It
Douglas.
was Lime Cat.
Lime
It was
Cat,
Lime Cat.
which is a cat, the lime on its head.
Oh, that was a melon.
You've seen it.
Yeah,
I hope you've seen it. If not, pull over and look it up.
and Google's it.
Even if you're on the highway.
Yeah, Doug KM, Feral / Moogkin / Resto, Druid of PvPs. Are you quitting the game, Doug? Are you gonna quit?
I want to so bad. Why do you make me do this podcast?
I heard you had bad RBG's experience. What happened?
Yeah, it was like an epiphany of like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I trying so hard at this video game?
I think we all have that, Doug. Every time we log on.
How do you get over that? How do you lie to yourself?
I don't have that.
And
You don't
Really?
lie to yourself. Then you can keep playing. See, this is the thing, because I have 5,000 alts, and I burnt myself out, about a year ago, as Dustin can tell you. And you just gotta like, step back and just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go do something else for a minute, and then just come back to the game for a little bit, and then go, and just kind of find your happy place, Doug. Find it.
I think that's good advice, because, I just try hard. I want to cap Conquest. I want to have a decent rating. I'm trying too hard.
Can't do it all, man. You can't do it all.
Yeah.
It's
The
just
farm, man, I feel bad. Those plants are just sitting there unattended.
the farm. It's really
So what you're
hard.
saying-
Neglecting your farm.
What you're saying is that you're playing more than you want to right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is everybody
It's
else?
hard to
How
find that
about
balance.
everybody else? How's everybody else doing? Shannon, are you playing more than you want to right now?
No, I've actually never felt that experience unless I'm doing something I don't want to do. Like when I was leveling my monk, I was feeling really irritated that I had to like go and level
Leveling
through
with
content I had
Nisai.
seen a billion times. but I like, even though I did a recruiter friend, that was the only time. Like I'm happy now. Like I'm caught up for the most part on my dailies. I'm not behind, and so I'm enjoying the game again. And if I play for like 5 hours in one day and 2 hours another day and then 1 hour another day or 12 hours, I don't care. I mean, I don't really get burned out from it.
So, you know how they do with like Valor, where if you cap your Valor in a week, all your other tunes get 50% extra?
Uh-huh.
And the upcoming rep changes where like once you get revered on one tune, all your other tunes get like 50% more. Should they do that with alts? If you already got a max level tune, should your other tunes get 50% more experience without Recruiter Friend?
That'll cut into their monetary
Yes.
benefit of Recruiter
so?
Friend.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
300% with
And then you
Recruiter
have to buy-
Friend.
Doug's probably right. They
That's
probably
like-
won't do it because of the monies.
That's
Right?
Maybe. So they got the heirlooms. They got the heirlooms.
Because the rep it doesn't matter. But the heirlooms aren't. I don't know. That's true. I guess. I mean, I don't know how many people are really like doing the recruit a friend thing, like just to level their character. I mean, there's definitely a few. It's more than one. But
I've done it.
It's expensive.
But you're also making a podcast about this game, so you're kind of already like in the.
What is happening?
Why am I here?
Have you done your hair?
What?
Doug looks a little strung out. I mean, this is on video, so you can see it. I mean, he looks like he toured with Nirvana for like 6 months too long, and like it's coming off some like drug bender.
Oh man,
So my point is,
I want to
can't
say
affect
I've
that
been
much.
putting off doing stuff, like piles of laundry. I normally am on top of that. Stop playing hockey as much. I haven't gotten a haircut.
Are you getting fat? That's usually what happens.
I am. That's actually what was it. I sat on the scale at my friend's house, and I was like 20 pounds heavier than I was
Who
before.
sits on the scale?
Well,
I think like
20
cattle.
pounds?
Cattle
He
sit
sat on the
20
scale,
pounds.
crying with the shower running, and his friends
Don't
outside
rant.
like, "What's the matter, Doug?" And he's like, "Nothing. Leave me alone."
I want to end it all.
So what about you, Dustin? You playing more than because you were the king of logging on just to raid.
That's true. I definitely was that. Yeah, Mops. I've played a lot more. Like I said last night, like I think a few of you expected me to just like quit the game when Mop launched, but no, that didn't happen. A couple like as of the past couple days, I've kind of actually been like, you know, what is there to do? Because I've done all of the dailies that matter for like raid gear. I am definitely like afraid of when I hit the point where I need to do more dailies to get those stupid 90 coins a week. I do not ever want to have to deal with that. But I don't know. It's
You don't have the Blizzard. You don't have to.
Yeah, right.
You could just.
you don't have
I mean,
to.
You're the
No.
main tank. What do you
Getting
need to do for it?
getting
You get
another
all the
roll on
crap
heroic
anyway.
gear? Man, that's not necessary. That's another
Not
thing.
for you.
I was just reading like Blue on this stuff, and someone was complaining about LFRs, right? And how I have to do LFR if I want to. I'm gonna rant, so I'm gonna go to my camera. I have to do LFR if I want to have the best gear for raids. And their answer was like, "Oh, if you do heroics as a guild though, and you're a guild who kills heroics, the heroic gear is much better, so you don't have to do LFR." So they're completely ignoring like progression of loot. Like all they're considering is what you will end up with, you know, out of the best possible loot that you could get. I mean, that drives me absolutely crazy that they don't.
You know, do you really think though that's their stance? Do you really think that's what they?
You want me to find it? That was quoting, my friend.
No,
I was quoting.
I know that's what they said, but I said, do you really think that's what they think? I mean, because I look at LFR, man. Like LFR is not. It's not a bad thing. Like for my alt, who like my monk, and I don't want to go like have to put together a damn 10-man, and I just want some tier gear and like.
Yeah, but
it's not a
LFR
bad
it's
thing.
not
The
like
problem
LFR
is
just happens well though, right? I mean, they're all falling apart like every
It can
single
happen
one.
really well. If you do LFR like Tuesday, Wednesday, you're guaranteed like an easy go. It's when you start doing LFR at like Sunday at 4 a.m. that you're kind of shit of luck.
Same thing with Shaw. All the noobs want to do their junk on Monday because they don't think it matters.
We saw that firsthand.
Yeah, Shaw has been really bad. Like we watched one group like wipe for like 6 hours, just recycling people that will never get their Shaw for the week. Here, let me read this though. This is the Blue quote. This is basically someone just complaining about LFR and the fact that they have to run it if they want to like be optimally geared. And he says, "Are you in a guild that has success with heroic raid progression? This one's pretty important, as any guild that's good enough to be farming or at least killing several bosses in heroic mogu'shan vaults and Heart of Fear by the time Terrace Endless Spring opens via LFR will not likely need a single piece of gear from LFR." Like, I think that's completely untrue. There's no way. You're still going to have to do it. I mean, the trinkets...
Especially if you want an off spec.
I think you have to do it, but I don't think it's that big of a burden. I mean, like, I already, on my dude, how old are we, like, 2 months into the game? Don't need anything from LFR anymore. With this
I do.
motion on LFR.
I still do.
I need stuff from LFR. I need a lot of stuff from LFR. The council has not been nice to me.
Right.
I don't know, but they give you the tokens. I think the tokens are good, honestly. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like getting token loot more than I like getting like raid given loot. Like I'm like, ooh, I got it on a token. Sweet. Like free loot for the raid. It just pops in my bag. Now if I get like double loot, then I'll probably kill somebody. But yeah.
There is a sense that you like got it on your own a little bit. I've been saving up because
double loot on Galleon.
Double loot on Galleon.
Oh my god! Don't even start me on that, boss.
Yeah, Galleon was sweet. Sorry, Shannon. What were you gonna say before we hop?
I think people who are crazy and interested in progression don't have a problem doing LFR for like all of half an hour to an hour if you're like organized about it. And if you don't do progression, you only do LFR. Like people are complaining that it's another element. It's another element that helps because otherwise we would be going from heroic dungeons right into raid, and we wouldn't have an opportunity for 370 or 476.
But this guy's rage was that it's not that he's just doing LFR; it's that he has to sit in LFRs that are wiping, and like they're not getting cleared like the Dragon Soul one was. I mean, we do it as a guild.
LFR together.
We do it as a guild just because it takes so long. If people want to do LFR on themselves, I mean, it takes us whatever it was, like 30 to 40 minutes to do both of them. And if you queue on your own, it's possible that you can spend 3-4 hours in there and still only kill, a few of the bosses.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely, it happens.
Yeah, but you don't have that experience as much as a healer because you can really carry.
Well, yeah, and as a tank, I don't have any problems either. But that's a whole separate issue. Is tanks have the longest queue in LFR. And it's so hard to get
Q.
I don't care. For me, it's not a big deal because I get in there. I can find people to queue with. I'm just saying, like for everyone else, there's so many tanks that want to do LFR. I think it's because a lot of people have ults that are tanks, and most of them are idiots. And almost every fight in there has an attempt-ending mechanic if the tank doesn't know what they're doing. So, like, if you go into Fang, the second one, and he doesn't pick up the barrier, okay, your LFR just wiped.
Yeah, and I do think that, they'll never do it, but I think that they should look at your progression or your account or achievement points or your gear or something, and you should get more weight in your ability to kick somebody.
Yeah.
I agree. I also think that if they really paid attention to, like, the gear in your bag as opposed to the gear you have on your body and, like, itemized, right? Like, I could walk in to LFR with all this crappy cloth and leather gear in my bag that has no proper stats for healing, and I still did LFR. I did it like 449 gear, and I was terrible. Could barely keep up, but it didn't matter.
But you lucked out with good tanks, so you were able to kill it. It was all I don't know.
Pretty sure I was healing.
You mean the pug warrior we had? I mean, it wasn't the paladin.
I don't. It's crazy. It's completely different than DS. So. I mean, you can't just go into it and expect that you're going to kill it and clear it in even an hour. That's naive. Absolutely.
I kind of like face rolling raids. I like going in there and blowing up bosses and not having to care too much. And I don't know, but I wouldn't do it. I would hate my life if I had to. Well, you just DPS.
It's a silly system.
I had to do it on Mondays.
It's a silly system.
Yeah.
I don't know. They should.
I like it.
They should keep it noob and easy. Knock it down to 10-man maybe. I don't know. I feel like that would help for some reason. If they're going to keep this stupid 10-man stuff. Oh, there we go. Segue into the 10-25 Korean thing. How do we feel about that? So, just to recap the situation, for only the Korean servers, has it already happened? Was it this Tuesday or is it next Tuesday? I don't know.
Yeah, it's already live.
It's already happened. So, the Korean servers get separate lockouts for 10 and 25 man, and the 25 mans have a boost to the loot, which is the same as the 10 man having worse loot, I guess. So you get higher item level in the 25 man instances now. So what do you think?
Higher than we're getting, or is the 10 man lower than we're getting?
Higher. They're making the 25 gear better. I think it's just
so they're not nerfing the 10-man gear. They're just making the 25-man gear better.
Correct.
That's lame.
I don't think I don't think that's the right answer. Number one, the lockout thing isn't the right answer, but secondly, making the gear different. I thought it was a good switch when they made 10-25 the same eye level. But what they should do if they want to make the disparity like bigger is just make it a much bigger gear to person ratio. Like make 8 pieces of loot drop in 25 man, whereas like still 2 only drop in 10 man. You know what I mean? Just make it more gear for 25 man.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that. That's actually because I guess I originally had like a lot of rage for the 10-25 thing. I still think that the 10-man thing is stupid overall. It's not terrible. Like I loved ZA. I was all about ZA. I like having 10-man instances, but I don't think that you should have the same instance have a 10-man and a 25-man facet. But that's pretty good, because I also don't like the idea of having to run the 10 and the 25 to get gear for the same reason as I don't like LFR and how that's working out.
That was painful. In ICC, that was absolutely painful. I wouldn't even a raider, and like I thought it was annoying as heck that I had to go into ICC 2 different times with 2 different size groups to maximize my shit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's retarded. I mean, it's better that, there's different, or it's the same, at least items now. That helps a little bit alleviate that, but I don't know. I never thought about just having more pieces drop. I think it seems like that should be a given, though. I guess, don't we have like 1 extra piece now?
The ratio is slightly better, isn't it?
I think now it is.
1 extra.
But in Dragon Soul, wasn't it actually like worse or something to the person? Like the only advantage was that you had more people to specify the loot to, I think. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you can spread it out. So the chances of you disenchanting something was far less for 25s. But now I think we actually get another piece or half a piece or something like that. I don't know. I guess, yeah, I mean, overall, like, principally, I'm against the 10 and 25 man thing. I definitely look down at 10 man rating as rating light. But I do also think it's fun to do with alts. So, go figure. How you doing, Doug? What you doing?
It's certainly it's easier to organize a 10 man over a 25 man.
Yeah, I don't really get.
As a non-raider who hasn't raided since Wrath, what is your opinion of this?
I like that the loot's the same now. In Wrath, I thought that was super annoying.
Yeah, same thing.
But I don't have too much input. I guess when I raided, it was 40 man. Like when I really, really raided and I was into raiding, it was 40 man, and it was just a pain in the ass. And it just felt like you were organizing more, like organizing and all that crap that comes along with leading a raid was more than half the battle as the actual fights. I don't know how much difficulty you guys have with.
The worst thing in this game to me is having to put together a 10 or 25 man normal mode or heroic mode pug. Like that's equals 6 hours of wiping. Like I much prefer even just getting worse gear on my alt through LFR than having to pug a raid. Which is why I think that they should make it some way that you can get the old LFR gear and it's not in the, not just removing it from the game entirely. Just make it like where you can buy the LFR old gear with like normal mode tokens or something.
You are so ragey about that, about not being able to get the nerd gear from the old LFR.
I'm telling you, man, the nerd gear is where it's at. Sometimes it looks cooler. That's all that's important.
They'll put it back in the game sometime. You'll be able to draw your Hello Kitty things on your armor at some point. You just have to wait for it. It's super important.
Looking better is worth more than good healing.
Shannon?
Right? Are you talking about Xmog? I'm not into Xmog at all. It's not. I actually have the first transmog I've ever had in my life, and I let another guildie make it for me, and it's terrible but amazing at the same time. I would never have done that myself. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like pink leather straps, so...
It's so good with my fat panda belly. It's amazing. Juicy fat panda butt. It's good.
Wow. So I think...
It's pretty gross.
Here's my answer to everything. It's a sweeping change that would fix it all. Get rid of LFR, make normal modes easier, and get rid of 10-man heroic. So you can only do heroic in 25. There you go. You're done.
Oh, that's terrible.
Whatever.
Make LFR easier so people can just go in there. The one thing that's nice about LFR is that you don't need to be a part of the community in order to play this game. Well, that's, I think, one of the greatest things.
Like, English,
if you're not a part of the community,
or not
you
English.
You don't have to be
not
in
to
a
be.
guild.
Sorry.
You can literally have your toon all by itself and still participate in all of the content at some level in this game. It certainly takes out the multiplayer aspect.
But so now I have to go into this. Should everyone be able to do everything? Like,
yes.
This is a big argument that I have. Like,
I mean,
go ahead.
That's the point of LFR.
That is the point of LFR, but I think it's bad. I think it's bad for the game. So my argument goes like this, and I've made it many times.
You know what game you're talking about? This is World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's World of Warcraft.
The most Careberry MMO of all time. Like,
yeah, but it's only because they did that.
Go play Eve or any of these grindy Korean MMOs.
Yeah, but those suck.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are
bad.
Those
games.
No,
it's terrible.
It's cool to have hierarchies of players, right? Like, it's cool to have people that, just do their dailies and whatever. And I don't know. Like, I don't see anything wrong with like the pyramid type system, especially when there's no cap to people who, do the hardcore end game content. It's just a level of commitment thing, a little bit of skill, less skill than commitment for sure. But I think it's silly to just have everyone experience everything just across the board. Like, to me, that's the same as saying like, okay, now everyone gets to play in the NBA. Like, we're going to have every single person who wants to play basketball.
No, it's not the same thing at all.
Like,
No, wait.
Go for it.
The NBA, playing in the NBA is like doing heroic raids. Playing in LFR is like playing retards in like middle school. It's still basketball.
It's like
just
21.
not the same kind of basketball.
Exactly. That's what I mean. When I was doing those LFRs, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just fucking hitting things. It doesn't like, and then I watched your videos that you post, like, here's how you're supposed to do these heroic boxes, and you're like, you have to taunt very precisely. And I'm like, I wasn't playing that game,
No, you were
not. It
not.
means nothing to me.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying that LFR is that. I'm just saying the concept, like, the idea of saying everyone has to be able to do all the content is silly. No?
Yeah.
I think that you should be able to play World of Warcraft and enjoy the content, at least look at the content from any perspective, because the truth is we might all burn out at some point and want to still sort of have some connection to WoW, and you could do so by being a casual player and enjoying all those bits and tits.
Tits.
What? In ICC, I joined the game,
filter.
Right? I spent however long ICC was active, I spent that long every week trying to kill the goddamn Lich King, and I could not, because I was on a shitty server, and I was bad, and like the pugs I would join is bad, and I did not kill that boss, and that's all I wanted to do, and then I got carried to a kill just before, the day before Cataclysm.
And how did that feel?
It was like the
was that amazing?
Moment.
Really?
It was wonderful, because I was so happy. I just saw the thing die.
Wow.
I just wanted to see it die. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
And it was like the best time
more
ever.
than the day before, but
see, that's the opposite.
It's true, because if you're going to look at the storyline of the game, right? Like, I don't even know. I do not pay attention to the storyline at all, but I sense a segue coming here. Like, you want to see the end of the story finish. Like, you want to have an opportunity to see the end of the story. And LFR and casual aspects of this game allow you to see the whole entire story.
Yeah, well, all I can
right? Dopa got to see the Lich King die.
All I can add is, like, my personal experience, which is, like, Warcraft 3. Like, I never played it because I put in the cheat codes to watch the videos, and I saw the videos, and I was like, cool, I really don't care about playing the game anymore. So, LFR seems like cheat codes to me. Like, I already killed it. Yeah, it wasn't as hard as it was going to be, but it's good enough.
Arguably, betas are the same thing, right? Like, we lost a mage who went and did all of the beta content, and we were speaking to him yesterday in Mumble. He said, I
talked to him today.
Yeah, he said, I've done all the content in beta. I'm not interested anymore. I've seen it. I've seen the story. And seen the fights. Yeah. Good. Goodbye.
He is the poster child for that. Like, he's like the only person I've ever heard just be like, yeah, I already did it on normal. I don't care about heroic. But I think a lot of people, he's the only one that says it. I think a lot of people think it subconsciously.
You couldn't do it on heroic. You weren't good enough.
No. I used to be like, why would you want to do heroic? You already killed the boss. Like, you get the gear. Like, I don't understand. Just better. It says heroic on it. Like, I didn't realize like how much, like, yeah, you're a noob. But in terms of, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'll think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that logic carries through a lot of people, whether they realize it or not. I don't know. It's a mess. LFR, normal, heroic, 10-man, 25. It is a mess.
Oh.
No matter how you look at it, it's out of control.
Well, it's a fairly new system. They haven't fixed it yet, right? Like, it's been around for just since Dragon Soul. And it seems like they probably heard, lame podcasts about how LFR was so easy and it's not teaching anybody mechanics in this game and anybody can go in there and face roll it and blah, blah, blah. It teaches you to be the worst raider ever, right? Which is still the same. However, they look like they might have tried to change that. They made it a little bit more difficult and they're requiring people to sort of pay attention to mechanics and, shift J their journal and find things out. And it didn't fix the problem. It made it worse because now, we just want to go in on our alts and get gear and we can't because there's 24 baddies that we can't carry.
But they did fix. The loot system in Dragon Soul for LFR was the worst thing I've ever seen, and they fixed it. Right, like this loot.
I agree.
Is way better.
I don't know.
So
I thought it was cool that we could game that.
For a guild, sure, but not for an all or for like some dude in order.
You go by yourself, it is really.
There's
bad.
A guy in there 5-boxing and steals all your crap. Oh, but.
No, you're right.
But
and
what
then sells it back to you for 500 gold.
They've tiered the approach, right? So like they put out normal mode first, so you can't go in there and like see all the cool crap in easy mode and then like not be excited about normal mode at least for a week. I think probably they're going to keep doing that or even stagger it more so that you can't just go in there and cheese it.
Yeah, there's lots of band-aids. Like maybe just let you do the first. So there's it's split into 3 and 3, right? Maybe if you could just LFR 1 and 2, and then you wouldn't be able to see 3 or of each one. Like that would be kind of cool. But the system still is like a big mess. I don't know. I think it's more work or whatever. But ZA was so awesome as a 10-man because it was only a 10-man. Kara was so awesome as a 10-man because it was only a 10-man. So. I think they missed the lesson. I wish that we had 10-man raids. Yeah, it was very cool. Like splitting into a smaller group like that is an awesome concept.
Or a 10-man dungeon or whatever.
Mm-hmm. We need more of that. And what was I gonna say? I don't know. Well, it's kind of a separate issue. But just getting back to the LFR thing, like why can't they fix the kick system? Like you said, some kind of waiting thing, something where I don't zone into an instance with a 5-man with an AFK guy, and it tells me I can't kick them for 4 hours. Instantly when nothing has happened. Are you leaving? Oh, okay.
Calm down.
And why can't we have like the dungeon thing where you could put yourself on a looking for group list and have
flippable table.
Have a group pick you out and say like, okay, our 10-man's failing. We had a guy leave. We need a mage, and then you do the looking for member thing.
You do
just like BC.
You know there
and
is
you
teleport
a looking
them for
in.
Group list, right? And no one uses it.
Well, there's a looking for group channel now.
That's true. I never use it.
Is there a list? I don't think there's a list anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? It's still in the game?
Yes, there's a list. You just have never
Okay.
used it because it's terrible.
Is it cross-server?
I'm going to look right now.
Because it needs to be cross-server. It's not going to work.
No, hang on. I'll find it.
And even if it is in the game, the fact that LFR is there is still gonna create a situation where it can't work. You need to get rid of LFR.
Yeah, you can list your name.
No one's learning anything.
Other raids. And you put in your comment. I just did it. We'll see
if anyone talks to me.
No one will because no one uses that ever.
Right. So they need to fix that. They need to focus on that. Like that would be so much better if you could start a 10-man, pull raiders in from cross server of the class and spec that you need.
I used to use that.
And if you can kick them out without having to sacrifice your whole group. Like the whole 4 hour, like I said, the kick system is probably the most terrible thing in the game. So that needs to be fixed, and then you need to be able to pull people in from cross server, and then it would be fine. 10-25 doesn't matter.
You know how much raging there would be? Like, oh, this group brought me in, used me, and I didn't get any loot, and they
but
booted.
Those are the people that no one likes. Put them in the corner. It's fine.
I don't know. We all have different standards. I just think that it would be nice if we could be like you're trying to make this like you're trying to clique the game, right? Like
clique.
I don't know. I mean, on one end, I don't want to carry people. I don't want to be wiping.
I don't know what that means either.
Clique.
You have to.
Sorry, en français, clique.
Clique is what Shannon does.
Are we talking?
Healing spells.
Are we talking about like? Are we talking about like social cliques, or is this a definition I'm not familiar with? Okay.
It's the same word. I just said it in French.
I guess I kind of am. And I'll
You
say
are,
that. Yeah.
and you're a bit of an elitist, and you're a bit of a snob, and you don't want to associate with people who you don't think are as good as you, which is fair enough because it's your gameplay, and you want to have the experience where you can go from A to B and not be held back with really.
Yeah.
She's mothering me.
Keep going. I mean, it's not that I don't want to associate with them, but yeah, I don't want to have a situation where they can ruin 9 other people's time or 24 other people's time. That's what I want to avoid.
I totally agree. Like recently I got pulled into this 10-man raid, and I had like this healer that went to go tank. He didn't have the gear, and we were just wiping as a result. It was really, really frustrating.
I think I was there.
I thought that it would be nice if that person was a little bit organized about that stuff. And I feel like we certainly are stuck in situations where we're carrying other people, and it's frustrating, and we don't want to be in those situations. But can you think of a system to change that? Because I don't think that people who are bad shouldn't get to play. I think they should just have to go play on some other server with other people who are bad. But at the same time, I used to be really, really terrible. Dopa couldn't even kill the Lich King until he met people who were much better.
Definitely.
And we as a guild, I have to say, are really nice to people.
Dopa is terrible.
Yeah, okay.
You are correct.
Here's a really good example. When Dr. Arcane came into this guild, he was not a great mage. He is OP. He's great. He's ranking. He does his shit. He makes like no mistakes. Good riddance molded him. He's a really good mage now. And
shouldn't guilds do that?
He was terrible when he came to us.
Man, they hook up one night way too drunk, and now she sings his praises about how good of a mage he is. Oh my god.
Okay, so you were talking about the 10-man I tried to throw together on Monday that like was total failure. And you said create a system where it works. Well, no, but I'm helping you throw me under the bus. But the thing is I didn't want to go tank. I said there's no way I have the gear to do this. So I was on my monk showing Shannon how to play the game. And I knew there was no way that I could switch to tank and it would work out. But we tried anyway. But if there was that 10-man system where I could have just gone, okay, hold on, who's in looking for raid? And been like, oh, there's someone who wants to be a tank, click, and then it sends them a yes, no, and then they hit yes, and then they teleport to the instance, and they're there, and we move on. That would have worked. And that's how ZA used to be, except for you had to wait for the person to, like, come to the instance with you. But, I mean, even in that circumstance, we had a mage who later became an officer in the guild, and, like, he was absolutely terrible at that time. That's where we found him. So, I don't know, my experience is that it works. Like you said, you know.
I think that would be a good.
That would be way better than LFR. 1,000 times, yes. And people would abuse the system, but you know what? People abuse this system.
People who are not good, right?
I'm actually going to need you to stop telling them to erase LFR. Because I like it.
To what? Oh, erase LFR?
I like LFR as well.
Yeah, but Dopa has like 1,000 alts that he wants to like AFK through. So that's why he likes it.
I don't know. I win every LFR I go into. What are you talking about? I'm a meter whore. I just want to be able to get the tier gear and just play them a little bit, do some little raiding. I don't have to worry about it.
I actually have to say LFR was really great because I leveled a monk, I hit level 90 and had no idea how to raid heal, like at all. I had no raid experience, so I went into LFR and I did LFR over and over and over and over again and practiced like the monk healing rotation, so I was better prepared for our raids. So there's certainly a lot of brilliant aspects to it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily teach you those things, but it gives you an opportunity to practice them because you can go and practice a new rotation. Like, oh, am I going to go Unholy or Frost? I don't know. Let's go
really
reforge and try this 7 different ways.
I have an idea. So they've mentioned this before. How about having some sort of, they're doing this scenario thing, which I haven't actually even done one since I hit 90, but it's a cool idea. But how about a scenario that teaches you how to do what you're supposed to do? Like you go in there and there's like all these little ads and your job is to hold aggro on all the ads as a tank for 60 seconds while there's some little NPC trying to rip it off you, you know what I mean? An AoE on the wrong target. And it's like, tab target, tab, you know what I mean? Like something to teach you. And they've said they wanted to do more tutorials, but how about, a DPS thing where it's like, survive without taking, like the daily quests kind of teach you a little bit, but I mean, they're a little bit forgiving. I mean, less forgiving. I mean, like survive for like 5 minutes without taking damage and or standing in anything. Or as a healer, like keep this tank alive who gets, raped, something like that where it, like, it's a raid scenario, but it's just you and you have to queue for a roll and then like execute. What do you think about that?
Brilliant. 10 out of 10. We did that with monk leveling, right? In order to get our little monk buff that gave us an extra 50%, we had to go and do these little scenario things. And I mean, they were all DPS.
I didn't learn anything. Hold on. Oh, that's what you're talking about? I did that, and I learned
me neither,
nothing.
But they need to take that concept.
No.
I didn't learn anything either.
No.
They need to take that concept
People-
and they need to make it more.
I think it's a
in-depth.
waste. I think it would be a waste of content. I would rather have another instance or something like that. I think it's a great idea, but people are not going to use it. They just won't. They're not going to learn how to play their class until they want to. And when they want to, there's plenty of resources to already learn.
3 instances in a row, it forces you to go through it. It's like remediation.
So rehab.
We're sorry, you cannot queue for LFR because you've been kicked out of 3 instances. That's it.
Remedial. I like it. You AFK at a 3 and you're stuck in remedial.
I'm in favor of some kind of punishment system. Like, what if you have to pay $10 if you get kicked out of 3 instances?
It's like
it would be way better.
You have to give up amount.
Yeah, it randomly chooses an amount to delete from your.
What if there was just more positive reinforcement? Like, top DPS in LFR gets a gold fucking star, which they can make into some sort of
transmog under their shoulder.
The scenarios,
a Hello Kitty that they can put on their chest.
Completely eliminate mechanics. You would completely eliminate mechanics, and people would just be like, just DPSing everything.
Some sort of system that
which is what I do anyway.
Follow mechanics, right? Like, so you can't just zerg through things in order to get like the highest. You're right, because that would really mess things up. But there could be some sort of like they have that now with scenarios. Not scenarios. Are they scenarios? What are those things that we don't do because we're not good enough?
I don't know. Take your pick. Scenarios, challenge modes.
Challenge mode.
There's all
so they do that with challenge modes, right? You complete a challenge mode in X amount of time, and you get access to transmog gear and a fancy achievement, right? Yeah, wake up, Doug. What's going on?
Scenarios. Oh my god. We're still
just speaking a word and just saying, "Oh my god."
I did the one intro Theramore
What are they talking
guy.
about?
Sorry.
I'm slowly falling back further into my
Theramore one.
I didn't do any of them.
That wasn't bad, but the problem with scenarios is that there's no reason to do it. Like, it gives you a little bit of valor and crappy gear. Why would I care to do that? Like, it's not like fishing where I can like AFK it. It gives you a 450 weapon. Like, man.
See, I ran by that. I wish that was more obvious in the leveling chain, I guess, or whatever. Because that's
it wasn't. It was in Wowhead. That's how I found it.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to find the Circle of Blood thing or whatever, and like I heard that maybe there was this thing, but don't you have to be level 90 before you can do it? Or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I missed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Silly.
I mean, it's the same every tier, everything. You go buy the PvP gear to get into LFR. You know what I mean? Like, to get into heroics. To get an LFR, and there's like a natural progression of shit.
It's a bad system, and I basically spent like the whole podcast complaining about it or whatever, but it is really bad. I don't know.
I feel like Blizzard employees sit around their computers and have these same debates. Like, I don't think these are new ideas that we're spitting out there.
Yeah, but
I think it's really hard to come up with a system that's successful for everybody.
The dude with the corner office doesn't know what he's doing.
All over the place. I don't know about that.
It's the girl intern that came up with the idea, right?
Exactly. That's my sexist explanation for a lot of this stuff. Is they're like some reasonably attractive. She's probably not that hot. She's probably like 6.5 or something. But for the office, she's like an 8.5, 9. Like she's probably.
So she's like.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's
like a Navy chick.
She struts into work one day and she's like, "Hey guys, I got this idea. I think that we should, instead of having tabards, we should have like dailies that people do." And then the dude that likes her and is also in Too Much Power was like, "Yeah, let's just try it out. It's a good idea. I like her enthusiasm for this idea. Let's do that." And that's how we got Mop.
I think you're retarded, first of all. Second of all, I think that to take away tabards, you're actually making the game more RP, which is far more attractive to the men in this game than it is the females. We don't actually tend to watch the storyline because it's retarded.
I cannot even read.
Tabards back.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, you maybe cannot read, right?
Yeah,
I agree
even
with
if
that.
I wanted to
There's
RP.
certain people. there are certain people who are really into it, and people who got into this game. Like, I've never been to BlizzCon, but I know if you go to BlizzCon, you see all these people who are really terrible at the content, but walk around with fucking elves' ears, like dancing around, going "ooh."
I did go once, and that is like, what happens.
There are definitely people who are really into the RP, and those are not women. And that suggestion you just said was not. That's like an RP thing. Like, take out tabards. Yes, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense contextually to have tabards give you reps. So they removed that aspect from the game. It was not a woman who thought of that. It was a really, really nerdy guy. So get off
whoever
our sex.
Decided to do that, by the way.
So we'll slap them. They're probably 5'2", weigh 108 pounds.
You can't hit a woman, Dopa. That's not right.
Dopa could.
What is wrong with you? Seriously, that is just.
What do you mean?
It's unacceptable.
What?
Violence against women.
What are you talking about? Oh. Yeah, actually, true story. The only fight I've ever been in my life was versus an autistic guy. Oh. And I beat his ass.
I thought you were going to say a woman.
Congrats.
That's sort of relevant. But...
So it was like looking in a mirror, wasn't it?
That's not very nice.
Is it sexist that he compared an autistic guy against a female in his mind? Like, when he like...
No. Nothing's offensive when it comes from Dopa. That's just... It's like the autistic kid trying to make fun of me right now. It's the same thing.
He gets a pass.
He gets a pass.
He gets a pass.
He gets a pass and a crayon in most restaurants.
The beginning of the
Stop
line.
it, douche!
Turn. Oh. Doug is so bored he's calling you.
So, I think we've been doing this for a while now.
Hey, Dustin, we're doing this podcast.
I already hung up on you. The first one was from B. We should have B do a podcast. B would be
hilarious.
B's gonna have to do a podcast.
Who's B?
Garland.
Garland.
Precious.
It's Precious Cargo. I could tell him that story on the podcast. Airplane mode enabled. Deal with it. Okay, so we're running out of time here. Doug, the one topic that we had set up for you. Can you explain to us the Stampede change for PvP?
Let me read the blue. I can't believe I missed it. I quit for one day and I missed the best news I've ever read.
So are you saying that you're back?
Quit for one day.
You can't quit for one day, Doug.
I stopped.
That's like saying you're going on a diet during lunch and eating pizza for dinner. Like
I did not play yesterday.
It's not.
I was about to log in
really
when we started this podcast, and I was like, nope, can't do it. I'm not going to do it.
While he's finding that, let me tell you that Stampede thing was the most annoying crap ever. Literally, like, I would try to get carried in twos for Conk because that's what you have to do to maximize your character. And I would get destroyed by Stampede in, like, literally, like, 3 GCDs. It was really annoying, so I'm glad they fixed it.
It's called the zoo.
Dustin and I were sitting on top of Lumber Mill, just the two of us, like, holding down Lumber Mill in an RBG. Out of nowhere, this hunter comes, and in 2 seconds flat, we're dead.
We're both dead.
Like, I couldn't do anything. Like, boom, boom. Both of us were dead.
Equally fast. Two players.
Equally, like, at the same time, yeah. Like, no lay of hands time from Dustin for me. Like, I couldn't throw a heal, not a cooldown, nothing. Just dead. Yeah.
Yep. You got global.
You got global.
The blue post was verbatim. We have just discovered a bug in which the debuff that makes Stampede pets weaker than normal pets was not being applied in arenas. This helps explain why hunters would cause so much damage in arenas or rated battlegrounds, but not in outdoor world or dungeon environments. So they're pretty much it. Like they weren't applying a debuff to hunter pets.
And so has this now?
Did they fix it, or they just didn't acknowledge that it needs to be fixed?
I think they hot fixed it.
No, they fixed it. It was a hot fix.
Hot fixed, yeah.
Yep. People are saying.
Is that your phone?
People are saying like, they're saying it's like worthless. Like, I'm reading all this QQ on Arena Junkies.
Like it's not enough.
Pets are literally they're critting for 1500. Like, people don't even have to use defensive cooldowns against the Stampede anymore.
Really? So they're nothing.
So the hunters
can just be removed from the game at this point?
Sweet!
They had their journey. They should have taken advantage of it, rode it to 2200, and just sat there.
Are you unquitting the game now?
I don't know. Like, I'm not very good at Feral. I've come to, like, I did a bunch of 2s arena, and even in RBGs, Oh man, it's just frustrating. I'm not a very good leader. The only reason I started doing RBGs was because I just wanted to get into one, and I read that ferals were not very high up on the priority. So I'm like, well, if I'm starting it, I can't kick myself out, so let's do that. But
Aww.
Brilliant.
It's a
That's how Shannon gets into 5-man.
And to start them. You're right. I feel like you're going somewhere else with that, you jerk.
The only other part of the thing I wanted to talk about was the other part of this blue post where they were kind of, it's nothing they're promising, but it's something they're hinting about in not 5.1, but I guess an upcoming throughout mop was they wanted to.
Wait, hold on. Never mind. I made a huge mistake.
Breaking news.
Okay, sorry, we're good. I think everything was fine, but I couldn't hear. Yeah, I think what you said is still recorded though.
Okay, the blue post I was talking about is basically Ghostcrawler, the douchey dev, whatever. He gets to make all the cool decisions and all that. He was saying that their idea for changing PvP was to reward people on a certain extent instead of letting people camp MMR. A lot of times what people will do will get 2,200 early in the season, or they'll get 2,500 early in the season, and then they'll sit on it. And then on lower played battle groups, a lot of times other teams won't be able to get up as high because there won't be any teams to play at the top end.
Right.
So you can literally get to the top, camp there, get your gladiator title, and be done.
Right.
But their idea is to change it and say, like, there's not going to be decay so much as people who play actively will get some kind of bonus just for playing. So let's say
a depreciation
consistently
system
beating
still.
a 2K.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't they have
Kind
that
of.
in Wrath?
They did,
You had
but
to
they
play
didn't want
every
to
week in order
penalize
to
someone.
maintain.
Yeah, that got
Yeah,
gamed.
well, that's the rule is still there. Like, you have to have an active team, so you have to at least play once a week. But that's what a lot of these teams are doing. They're literally playing once. So, like, if you have a 2,400 team and there's one other 2,500 team, and you queue and there's nothing in your MMR, you're constantly being queued against maybe 2K teams that you're destroying. You know, you can't really move up because you're not. Exactly. So
like
they're trying to reward people. Exactly.
Well, I remember, I mean, maybe this is just made up, but I remember in Wrath, like, for Arena, you had to do X amount of games a week in order to maintain your, like, conquest caps and stuff like that, or you just kind of became obsolete.
You had to play 10 games a week in Wrath.
Yeah, 10.
It's not like that anymore. So what people do now is they'll play one game with their, whatever, the 3s team, and then they'll just conquest cap using their 2s team. So you'll have a 2,300 3s team. You play like one game just to keep it active, and then you get your points through 2s to avoid losing rating on your 3s team.
See, fear mechanics are the most annoying thing in this game to me. So that's why I can't PvP, because I spend the whole game staring at my tune, running around like a retard.
Yeah, it's really bad right now.
I remember when they, like, in Brewing Crusade, the game became more about, setting up, like, CC change, and I thought it was cool. It gave more meaning to the game instead of just being able to mash your keys better than they were. But, I don't know. That's kind of the part of the reason I'm a little frustrated with the game and I don't have as much fun anymore, is it really feels not like you're not throwing up sweet deeps or anything like that. It's literally how well you can control their team. Which I guess some people would argue that should be more rewarding. You're outplaying your opponent. But at the same time, some of these teams, it feels like they're running like 2 S-Priests, a Warlock. They're just running in and literally like fear bombing us. Like, there's no control.
You actually have to rely on your healers a lot in order to deal with that, because that's dispellable.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, it kind of does seem like
nothing too much on that. So, yeah. There's nothing. That was the only thing I was super excited about for PvP was Hunters got nerfed. So
it is really exciting. Dustin, let's go ahead.
It's a long time coming.
They didn't get nerfed. They fixed a bug, right?
Not for RBGs.
Well,
they fixed a bug.
They're saying they're nerfed, but yeah, they basically fixed a bug. But they're.
But it's not RBGs, right? It's only arenas.
It said arenas only in.
It's in PvP
quote,
content,
but in
right?
the hotfix it says RBGs.
Oh, okay. So we can hang out in the lumber mill. So this is now at least the second bug that they've fixed for hunters that gave them uberness, right? So people have been complaining they're way too strong, and they're like, no, I'm looking at the sheet of paper here, and it says we're good. But they're like, no, but my health bar just disappeared. I tried to reload UI, but I was actually just dead already.
Yeah, exactly.
Silly. All right, well, I think we've been doing this for probably about an hour, right? I don't know. I didn't start a time. So, let us end this podcast. Sound good? Dope, do you have anything clever to end it with? You going to show us your phone? Something funny on your phone? Come on, make us laugh, Dopa. Do something funny.
Listen, I'm not your
Google us a World of Warcraft joke.
monkey.
I want to hear a joke. Dance for us. Dance monkey.
Dance monkey dance.
It's not gonna happen.
Oh.
I would like to hear a joke. Someone a joke?
No. Okay, Heidi's home. I gotta go.
No.
Podcast's over. Podcast's over.
At a lumber mill, Dave.
Stop.